All right, you're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq. Today was well, let's go back here. I'm going to start from scratch. The Nasdaq this year, it had this cup with handle pattern, and then it broke out on May 10th and had an 18% move to July 19th. May 10th to July 19th had a 9% retracement, so a 50% retracement of this move from the breakout. And then on Friday, it had a pink rally day where it closed, went down, made a new low, and then closed near the high of the session. You can see that this looks like panic selling here. As you can see, these inverted hammer candles here, just closing at the lows day after day after day, and then reverse Friday, which is day one of an attempted rally. And then we had today was day 4, a couple of decent days the last couple of days. Today was day 4. And it's not a follow-through day because the volume was lighter than the prior session. So maybe we'll get that tomorrow with the news that was out this afternoon, but I'm going to get to that a little later. I just want to look at some stocks that have been holding up well as the Nasdaq corrected this 9% here. Because like I said, if you have a growth stock, say something like Datadog, and it goes from 118 to 83. That's pretty typical, I guess, of a growth stock. When the Nasdaq corrects 9%, your stock's going to correct. Well, this is a little more than 9%, but you get the idea. Your growth stocks are going to correct 2 or 3 times the index. So I'm not interested in those stocks below the 50 crashing. I'm interested in the stocks that I've been talking about for weeks and weeks, and those are the stronger stocks above their moving averages in the data center, construction, networking field. And I'm going to go through these here one at a time. I'm sure you've all heard of these before, but these are the ones showing strength. So this is what I like. This is trending higher. This is a Sterling Infrastructure. I never hear anybody talk about this stock, which is a good thing. I like the quiet stocks, but it gapped up after earnings and pulled back to the 10 and is just being supported here at the 10. Ever since this earnings breakout couple of weeks ago. It was on, I'll get the exact date here, August 8th. Okay, what's the date today? 23rd. Okay, so 15 days ago. Anyway, it was up another, 2.5%, 3% today. So it's definitely outperforming the index. While the Nasdaq was doing its thing and correcting 9%, this thing was showing strength. So that's why I like the stocks. I like stocks that go higher. This is Quanta Services, and this one had a nice little 5-week flat base pattern, broke above it yesterday. And people say, oh, breakouts don't work, and you know what, this one's working. And this one looks really strong. Like once again, as the Nasdaq was pulling back and correcting, this thing was just grinding higher, and that's what it does. Pulled back to the 50 a couple sessions ago. I guess that was that pink rally day on Friday. Found support. Now it's just blasting higher. It was down to 197 that day, up to 208 today. So this thing, and if you take a look, take a step back and look at the longer view here, you can see from the COVID lows of 23, it's up, 1.8 bagger. So anyway, I like stocks that are strong. This is showing strength. That's why I'm showing this to you. Vertiv, this one's up. This is going to go up with the news from we got this afternoon, which I'm going to get to later. But this one broke out on August 2nd, 29% move, and it held its gains. The thing about holding its gains and not, sometimes stocks will break out like this, and then they'll just pull back immediately, back to their moving averages or fill the gap. This one's holding its gains, and that's an indication that institutions are holding on to the stock. They're not selling it. They're happy with it at $35, and looks like tomorrow they're going to be paying $37. But anyway, you could see this. It's a very short time frame, but it did, break this little downtrend line. A downtrend line must touch in 3 places, which this one does. And then it broke there on Monday, a little pullback on Tuesday, and today it was up more than 2%. And it looks like tomorrow is going to be a good day for this one as well. Caterpillar, I know you think Caterpillar, my God, Marty, what are you doing? This is an old widow stock that pays a nice dividend. But this one If I look at the cup with a handle here in the breakout, and it's just pulling back to its moving averages and lighter volume, I still like this, even though, what did it close? Right at its 21 today. Nothing wrong with that. It was up 1%. Yeah, it closed right at its 21. So Caterpillar's fine. Longer term, I mean, this is not your growth stock that I typically traffic in, but it's definitely has to be recognized. This one was showing strength while the indexes were pulling back. So ANET, which is a networking stock, definitely showing strength while the Nasdaq was pulling back, and this one is up sharply after hours as well. Tomorrow looks like it's going to be a pretty strong day. The shorts are going to have to cover, and probably we're going to get some institutional support tomorrow. So I'm looking for that follow through day tomorrow. But this one was up, 1.2% today. It's been getting the volume. I got to look at the weekly because the daily is really choppy, but you can see it does this, base, run higher, base, run higher. And now it's consolidated again. It's starting to move higher. So that's why I like it. It's been on our ready list, but it's starting to get a little extended. So I had to take it off, but still a good, strong stock. And, if you're into stocks that move, that one moves. SMCI, another one that's going to be up tomorrow. Oh, 299. So I'm hoping it goes through 300. It had this buy point here at 270 because it was the high in the flag, which also coincided, just, below its 50, but it ripped through the high in the flag and its moving averages today. So if I look at the weekly here, see, here's the high in the flag, and it went above that today. Also, if you are, into the trading stocks or buying stocks as they trade through their downtrend line, is this one. Yeah, this one is super micro. Sure. Okay. Downtrend line like this touches once, twice, 3 times. And then this was Friday, I think. No, Monday. Monday it broke above it. And then today it really ramped 7%. And tonight it's going up again. And so SMCI, definitely a buy there at the 270. I didn't have it on our buy list. And if you're buying it above 290, you're kind of chasing it here, but it's probably going to go higher. The Wedbush came out and had some positive comments tonight, and they're going to be presenting at 4 or 5 workshops or webinars or presentations or conferences in the next few weeks. So they're going to be saying some positive things, and the CEO just kind of sandbagged the quarter. So I think there's a lot of life left in this one. Definitely moving around after hours. All right, let's move on to the air conditioning stocks. I know this is boring stuff, some of these stocks, but they're grinding higher. I mean, like I said, when the Nasdaq was pulling back, this one just kept grinding higher. This is FIX, Comfort Systems, HVAC stock today, what, $3, 1.74%, pulled back on to its 50 for the first time since the breakout after earnings. And that one looks pretty strong. Another one in the group that I like is Modine Manufacturing. This one pulled back to its 21 recently, found support and blasted higher, is up nearly 4% today. So that one I like a lot. Somebody pointed out to me, the train, we got a train or a carrier. Train looks okay. It's got a double bottom base here and moved higher. Got a little bit ahead of itself at 208. Now pulled back. So if you're a swing trader, that's a pretty good sell here, and this is a pretty good buy right here if you're into that type of thing. Carrier, that's the one I was going to point out. Training Carrier, the air conditioning companies. Once again, this one got ahead of itself at 60, pulled back to the 50. That looked like a good buy. If you're a swing trader, want to sell the highs, buy the lows, just keep doing it over and over again, if that's your thing. And the other one is Linux, LII. Yeah, this one, come on, Market Smith. Don't mess with me. Up 4% on the week, up 4% on the day, $14. You can see this one traded below its 21 and today ramped higher. And these are all just really strong stocks. Okay, that's enough of the HVAC, air conditioning, heating, whatever. I'm going to go to ELF because ELF is it's a stock that I hold and I really like. I bought as it pulled back to the 50. This one I mentioned several times. It had filled the gap here. It had this gap And so that's sometimes pullbacks, you know, if people have not gotten in this stock, a pullback like that, that allows, well, obviously some people are selling for it to go down, but this gap higher here is from the prior day is what I want. 117.68, then it gapped up and the low was 132. So it closed this gap here last week below 117.68, came down to 114. Wow. And now found support at the 50. So it gives opportunity for other people to buy the stock that have wanted to get in, that, you know, just couldn't buy it as it just grinded higher. But I mentioned, you know, several times that that's what this stock does. It pulls back to the 50 every couple of months, right? Did it in January and people were freaking out. It traded below. It's just profit taking from the prior year. You could see this one went from 33 to what, 60, 58. And then so, you know, you take some taxes, tax selling, and then it starts ramping higher. But this one just pulled back to the 50. I know that move is really scary, right? I think it was like 10%. I mean, if you're holding it, it stinks. But if you want to get in, you know, it's giving you a chance. So if you like that type of thing, that one looks good. That's enough without Celsius. This one changed character a little bit because you can see how it's been trading sideways, even with good earnings report sideways, even with this gap higher, 138, you know, to 135, didn't move anywhere for 3 months. Now it gaps higher, and this one's starting to trend higher. You can see the moving averages, and Celsius looks good to me. Very good. A couple of earnings reports, you know, the retail earnings have been all over the place. This is Abercrombie and Fitch, ANF, a 23% move with 620% above average daily volume. That is a move that shall not be ignored. Quite a blast off. I don't know what they're doing well, but, you know, obviously they must be a hit with the younger generation. Abercrombie and Fitch, retail, doing it well. Congratulations to the longs there. Urban Outfitters, this one was up more than 3%. Strong earnings report, and it just traded down to its 50 before the earnings, and a nice earnings report. So that one did well also. So Abercrombie and Fitch and Urban doing well, and I got to take you to the bomb Foot Locker. You know, oftentimes when stocks gap down on earnings, they do it more than once, and this is the second time in Mary Dillon's tenure there that it's gapped down like this. Is down 28% today with massive volume. So, you know, at some point the sellers will get exhausted. They're going to have to make some changes as well. More people are shopping direct to consumer, right? And you heard from Target and Dick's Sporting Goods, you know, a lot of theft with these in stores. So, you know, there could be stores shuttering, you know, in certain cities, and they just have to buy direct to consumer from the manufacturer. So, and Foot Locker is not a manufacturer. They're just, you know, they're in the malls. So I think, you know, they just sell Nikes and Crocs and all sorts of different brands of shoes. Anyway, that's enough with Foot Locker. That thing bombed. I like the drug stocks. You know, I do. Some people are saying this thing's overvalued. I've owned this thing for over 20 years. And I can just tell you, my friend Casey bought it for me in the late 90s. And as he managed my retirement account, I wish he would have bought more, but I haven't messed with it. You can see this thing's just been a monster. And you know, that they're in this huge, massive weight loss, obesity, diabetic market. And let's face it, I mean, there's more and more and more people that are obese, overweight, and with diabetes. So this stock should do well. And Lilly is into it as well with the Mounjaro, or Mounjaro, however you pronounce it. But Lilly has been a really strong stock recently. I know it's flat today, big deal. This thing is, you know, on the heat list. This thing broke out and just is ramping higher. I would imagine at some point it would at least pull down to that green line, which is a 10 EMA. RCUS went up on a data leak from Roche, and I'm a little skeptical of data leaks. I don't think those are accidents. They probably, but anyway, it's a positive phase 2 trial. So I just had to point this out. A 22% move with 400% of average daily volume is not to be ignored, but it's a biotech stock, and, you know, without any earnings or anything. So definitely one to be aware of. I'm going to point out, well, no, I'm not going to do that. Okay, after hours tonight, Snowflake reported a good quarter. Whoa, it's at 160. Wow, I saw it down at 150 earlier. So this is being well received. They had a nice earnings and revenue beat. They thought the guide was, a little conservative, but obviously investors or traders or whoever's trading after hours is buying that stock. So good for Snowflake. Also, SPLK, Splunk. Now they had a legitimate, real strong beat and raise quarter, and this one was up 8. Now it's up nearly 12% after hours. So after hours is really, really ramping here. Autodesk is another one in after hours, and that one looks good as well. This is a computer software design stock, up 6%, and that one looks good as well. A little slower mover than those other ones. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching. And I have, in honor of Steve Jobs, one more thing. NVIDIA reported earnings this afternoon, and now it's at 509. Okay, up 8%. So this is going to drive the Nasdaq tomorrow. The beat and raise. The beat was really by quite a bit, and the raise was by quite a bit. And they have a stock buyback program. So this is going to definitely lift the Nasdaq. We didn't get the follow-through day today, but it would not surprise me if we got it tomorrow. We need a 1% move with volume above today's volume, which should be pretty easy because the volume today was pretty low on the Nasdaq, and you're going to get some short covering as well as some institutional buying today. And that should spark stuff like Google. I had to mention this because this is what's driving the Nasdaq here. Google 133.50 after hours. Google and Amazon are the two strongest ones on the Nasdaq. How do I know? Because they're above their 50, whereas Apple is not, below the 50 there. Microsoft below the 50. They can rally right through it though, and I expect that they will. Meta even is below the 50. Came up to it today. Good for Meta. Should have a strong day tomorrow, folks. Tesla well below the 50, but I would expect it to rally back through soon. And also with the NVIDIA report, you're going to get the semiconductor sector. It's going to drive this higher. This is AMD, and you can see that the 50 SMA is 113.06, so it should blast right through that level tomorrow. I'm way more interested in AMD at 113 than I am, below the 50, where it is now. Also, this one here, I was going to put it on my ready list at 94. You can see the 94 level and why it interests me right here. It touched it a couple times and broke above it today. So it's breaking out of that consolidation period, also above the downtrend line. And so that's why I like Lattice Semiconductor, but man, okay, 95.60, 95.90 after hours. Okay, well, we'll see. ACLS, I don't like to put on stocks unless I'm pretty confident they're going to do well. This is a CLS, which is I like that stock too. I could have done that whole group today, but I'm not going to. ACLS is another semiconductor manufacturing stock, up to 180. And the reason why I wanted to point this out, it's going to rally through its 50 tomorrow as well. So, a little trade below it doesn't hurt, and then a rally back through. We've seen the undercut and rally quite a bit this year in 2023, and it just kind of like it's a buy the dip mentality, right? Every time it dips lower, it ramps higher, right? It dips lower and ramps higher. Now it dips lower, and hopefully we get a ramp back above 200. So anyway, that's it for today. If you have any requests, jokes, riddles, please send them to me. Anyway, I believe that's it for today. Yeah, that's it for today. And I just got to